Around 1 year ago, when I had introduced the RBI DEPR 2024 course to you, I had assured you that you will work very hard in developing the best course, providing you with quality content and excellent mentorship. We thank you for your words of appreciation, and it indicates that you found the content useful. Apart from all other video courses and test series, this year the content on Indian economy was also useful. In phase 1 exam of this year, when we saw the questions on NABARD's RIDF, the National Food Security Act, the revised definition of MSMEs, question on PSL guidelines, trends in saving rate, purchasing managers index, we were happy to know that our understanding of this exam continues to be better than many others. We are now beginning the full course for RBI DEPR 2025 examination, and again I assure you that this course will provide you with the best content and excellent mentorship. This course will also be very useful for some of the other examinations. For example, GATE Economics, I think this course will cover almost the entire syllabus. Similarly, for UGC NET JRF Economics, this course will cover around 80 to 90% of the syllabus. And for the other exams, which are PFRDA, NABARD or SEBI research stream, this course will cover around 60 to 80% of the syllabus. In this course, I will be your mentor, and whatever understanding I have managed to build about these exams during my years of education and work experience, I will try to transfer that to you. So this is how we will proceed in this video. First, we will discuss the details of the full course and individual courses. After that, we will understand how to utilize these courses and test series. Then we will understand how to utilize the full course to cover the syllabus of some of the other exams. And at last, I will provide answers to a few queries that I have been receiving. And throughout this discussion, it is a good idea to keep in mind the scheme of examination followed in the year 2024. So there are 3 phases. In phase 1, there are 2 papers. Paper 1 is Objective Economics and paper 2 is Descriptive English. This paper has to be typed with the help of keyboard. Then, on the basis of marks scored by candidates here, they will specify a cutoff, and only those candidates who meet the cutoff, that means who score marks higher than the cutoff, will be qualifying and will reach the second phase. At phase 2 again, there are 2 papers, and candidates who qualify phase 2 will be called for interview by the RBI Services Board. Now let's understand the details of the full course. Fee will be rupees 36,000. It will be non-refundable under any circumstances. Till mid-Feb, there will be discount, and the effective fee will be rupees 27,900 for the new students. For old students, there will be some discount, which I will mention on the next slide. Under this course, we will be covering the syllabus for both phase 1 and phase 2, and also phase 1 test series will be included within this course. Please remember, phase 2 test series and interview guidance program is not included in this course. Validity of this course will be 12 months from the date of enrollment. Videos can be accessed only on the app, which can be installed either on a mobile phone or on a tablet. That means videos cannot be accessed on a laptop. Mock test, however, can be accessed on a laptop. You are permitted to use only one device for viewing the content. For example, if you are downloading the app and watching the videos on that app, then you are allowed to use only one device for that. Okay. Similarly, if you want to attempt mock test and let's say you are using a different device for that, that can work because mock test can be accessed on a laptop. So let's say you are using some laptop for it. So once you log in from one laptop, you will not be logging from another. You will not be able to log in from any other laptop. Similarly, for videos, once you log in on the app on a particular device, be it a mobile phone, be it a tablet, then you will not be able to change that device. Okay. It can be changed under exceptional circumstances, but you will have to drop us a message first, right? Now, next is that the content will be good. The concepts will be well explained. It will be suited to a beginner. Even a beginner will be able to understand and follow along. What are prerequisites? If you understand class 12 mathematics, it is sufficient. If you do not understand class 12 mathematics and you have not, let's say, studied mathematics at class 12, then you will have to cover a few topics. For example, the topic of differentiation, the topic of sets. All those have to be covered. If you want, we can help you with that. And in fact, in this course also, there will be content on that as well. But remember, you will have to exert more effort than the others. It will take more time as compared to others because you have to cover these things also from the beginning. And like already mentioned, I will be your mentor throughout. If you want to discuss something, you can drop us a message and we can even schedule a phone call. But remember, it's not necessary that this will happen instantaneously. For example, whenever you drop a message, you have to be patient and give us time to reply. Similarly, if you want to schedule a phone call, you will have to drop us a message and ask when can we talk. Please do not call without discussing or without scheduling an appointment. Drop us a message on Telegram first and then we can take the conversation forward. This course will include only pre-recorded videos and there will be no live classes. We will continue to upload the content till the exam. Regarding doubt support, please understand two things. First of all, you should understand that doubt support will be available only before the notification is released. And once the notification is released, we will not be able to provide you with any individual doubt support. That means it is best if you can cover your syllabus beforehand and not wait till notification. And जैसा स्कूल में होता था कि एग्जाम से एक दिन पहले 2 दिन पहले रात को डाउट्स पूछ रहे हैं, I think that will not work here. Okay. Next is what kind of doubts we'll be able to address. So if you are watching any video and you happen to encounter any doubt there, anything is not clear, you can drop us a Telegram message. Tell us which video, which class, what is the timestamp, and we will revert to you. Next, mock test. Let's say if you are attempting any mock test and if any question is not clear, then of course we will be able to help you out with that. Okay. And like already mentioned, whenever you drop us a message, you have to be patiently waiting for the reply. Mostly we reply within 24 hours, but sometimes it can take longer also. For example, if I say during the previous 1 year, all the messages that we received, I think to 60% of those messages we were able to reply within 24 hours. To let's say around 20%, we might have taken up to 2 to 4 days to reply. And to another 10 to 20%, we might have taken up to 7 days or even more to reply. Okay. But I assure you that this is more like an aberration. Generally, you will receive a reply within 2 to 3 days. So whenever you send any message, please wait patiently. We will get back to you. And what type of doubts will not be covered here? For example, let's say you want to discuss some question from some other examination. That we will not be able to discuss. Similarly, let's say you want to discuss some concept which is not included in the videos. Again, that we will not be able to discuss. Okay. So be clear on what is included and what is not included. If you have any doubt, please feel free to drop us a message and clarify before you enroll in the course. And please note that we will not be providing you with any PDF notes. You are expected to watch the content and make notes using the information given on the slides. That means you will have to note that down in your notebook. These are the old student discounts valid till 15 Feb 2025. I think this is self-explanatory. For example, if any candidate falls in this bracket, then the fee happens to be 27,900 till 15th of Feb. And if you are falling in this bracket, then fee will get reduced by this amount. Okay. And how to exercise these options? Just drop us a message on the Telegram to obtain your coupon code, and using that coupon code, you can move ahead with the payment. Also, if anyone was enrolled in the RBI DEPR 2024 full course, there is an option to renew access for 1 year. For doing that, you would have to pay approximately 10 to 11% of the prevailing fee. And hopefully you will be able to continue this offer till December 2025. After that, let's see. But till that time, we are committing that we will continue. That means if anyone is enrolling right now, let's say in the month of November 2024, and if this person wants to renew the access for 1 more year, then that can be done by paying approximately 10 to 11% of the existing fee. So existing fee means that let's say after 15th Feb, the existing fee will be 36,000. So 10% or 11% of that, if you pay, you can renew access for 1 more year. This will be valid hopefully till 31st December 2025. To summarize, if anyone enrolled in 2024 full course wants to renew access for 1 year, you just have to pay 10% or 11% of the fee. There'll be a few individual courses also for anyone who is not enrolled in the full course. There'll be a course on stats and econometrics, and I assure you, this course will be the best course which is available on this subject in the entire market. You will not find a better course than this. There'll be a course on Indian economy also, and there'll be a test series for phase 1 objective economics paper and a separate test series for phase 2. Please note that we will not have a separate test series for the English descriptive paper. However, that will be included in the full course. Please remember that till 15th of Feb, these courses will continue to be available at the discounted fee, and after 15th Feb, the fee will rise. The detailed schedule of the phase 1 paper 1 test series we will be sharing in the month of December when we begin the test series. Also, if anyone was enrolled for RBI DEPR phase 1 paper 1 test series for the year 2024 with us and wants to renew this subscription for the year 2025, the fee will be rupees 1200. How to exercise this option? Please drop us a Telegram message and we will guide you. It is possible that you might also be appearing for other exams based on economics discipline. For example, UGC NET exam or GATE economics exam or Indian economic services exam. I assure you that this course will help you immensely in all those examinations. Because remember, ultimately, economics subject is the same, right? The syllabus is the same. Only thing which differs is the kind of questions that may be asked in different examinations. But if you have prepared the subjects thoroughly once, by thoroughly, I mean you have begun with definition, then you have understood the concept, you have understood the diagram, and you have solved numericals. Then you can handle any type of questions, be it any exam. And in my opinion, preparing the subject holistically once is a better approach rather than preparing separately for different exams. For example, let's say someone who is appearing for UGC NET exam. So when these people enroll in coaching somewhere, in most coachings, the way you are taught these subjects is, they'll tell you facts without going into too much detail. They will not explain you the details properly. Okay. So you remember some facts, and on the basis of that, you go into the examination. If it clicks, you clear the exam. If it does not click, you do not clear the exam. In contrast, any candidate who has prepared the subject thoroughly, beginning with definition, diagrams, theories, numericals, that person is already prepared for all exams. This person can sit for UGC NET exam, for GATE exam, for Indian Economic Services exam. Of course, there will be some modifications. For example, if this person is sitting for IAS, this person has to do some writing practice before, right? But ultimately, the crux of the preparation remains the same. And remember that UGC NET exam is a qualifying exam in the sense that once you qualify for, let's say, UGC NET or even for JRF, then what? You will either enroll yourself in some PhD program. Again, there will be competition. So what will you do? You'll again take coaching for some PhD exam. Or even if you sit for assistant professor examinations, then again, will you take separate coaching for assistant professor examinations? Right? That makes no sense. So my suggestion is prepare the subject thoroughly once and it will help you in all the examinations. Similarly for GATE economics, and this course will help you for Indian Economic Services preparation as well. Now, if you ask how much of IAS syllabus will be covered under this course, what I would say is that have a look at the syllabus of the two exams. Whatever things are common between the two, that will be covered. Apart from that, we intend to expand the scope of Indian economy lectures, and hopefully we will cover almost the entire IAS syllabus in this Indian economics course. Okay. Similarly, if you see the syllabus of SEBI, you will see that majority of the syllabus overlaps with RBI DEPR syllabus, and things that are separate or things that are different, even if you prepare them after the notification, it is perfectly all right. So if you want to appear seriously for SEBI research stream whenever it is released in the next notification, then the best approach is prepare those topics which are in common with other exams very thoroughly, and after the notification, you can prepare those topics which are to be done separately. For example, these topics. Similarly, for almost all other examinations, be it the PFRDA exam, again, you will see most of the things are in common with RBI DEPR syllabus. Similarly, for NABARD Agri Economics discipline. Although NABARD has not recruited under specialist Agri Economics discipline in the last 3-4 years, but you see that the syllabus which they prescribe is again has a lot in common with the RBI DEPR syllabus, and if you have prepared those topics properly, then if and when NABARD hires under this discipline, if you prepare the different topics, even after notification, you have sufficient time for it if you have prepared the other topics thoroughly beforehand. Merely enrolling in any course is unlikely to be useful. Ultimately, any course will be useful for us only if we can utilize the course content well to improve our learning. So let's discuss briefly how to utilize the video courses. Through these videos, our purpose is to build conceptual clarity and making quality notes. For doing so, the first step will be watch the videos without distraction and note down important points from the slides. Remember, use a separate notebook for different subjects. Then read these chapters from the standard books. Now, many of you sometimes ask when to read the chapters. Like, should you be reading the chapters immediately after each class? Once you have watched the class, after that, should you go and read the chapter? Now, that depends on personal preference. And if you want, you can complete one full unit. For example, let's say you are watching the microeconomics videos. So you watch all the videos of consumer theory. Once you have watched all the videos and then you have written down the important points in your notes, then if you want, you can pick up any standard book and cover this unit of consumer theory from it. Then you watch producer theory and then you read the book. Or if you want, you can complete the entire microeconomics first and then you go to reading the books. Remember, reading the books is very important. It will give you that confidence that, okay, you are able to understand the books. Also, it will give you the confidence that you have covered the syllabus thoroughly and nothing is getting left out. Remember also that while making notes, write in a sufficiently spaced out way. That means do not write very cluttered things. If you are writing very cluttered things, then what will happen is when you are going through the standard books, let's say you find some information or some fact which you want to incorporate in your notes, you will not have space for it. So write sufficiently spaced out lines so that if you find some fact later on which you want to incorporate, you can just use a pencil and write somewhere in between that particular fact. Okay. Then the third step will be go to the mock test and attempt the mock test. See how much you score, see the mistakes you are making and try to learn from them. Fourth step will be you can pick up any other question bank. For example, you can pick up UGC net previous year questions or any other question bank and try to solve questions from this subject. If you want, you can do this fourth step right at the end. Once you have completed the entire microeconomics, for example, then you can just go through different sets and try to see which questions you're finding difficult and note down the difficult questions in your notes. This process you can follow for almost all subjects, be it microeconomics, macroeconomics, stats, econometrics. For Indian economy, you will have to go one step ahead. In most colleges, Indian economy is not taught in a detailed way. So our understanding, once we pass out from our college, our understanding of Indian economy is far limited as compared to our understanding of other subjects, be it micro, macro, stats, econometrics. Hence, for most candidates, building good understanding of Indian economy will require more time as compared to completing other subjects. And speaking very humbly, I want to design the best course on Indian economy. So hopefully in this year, we are going to make progress in that direction. For example, let's say if you want to cover the topic of agriculture, Indian agriculture sector, then first of all, you watch the entire content from the video course. Then the next important step is that gradually you have to get used to reading the newspaper. It is okay if you do not begin reading the newspaper immediately right now, but ultimately you have to get into the habit of reading the newspaper. So what you can do maybe is for the next 2 to 3 months, let's say till February, you can rely on covering the syllabus through the videos, but gradually get into the habit of picking up newspaper every day and going through it. In the initial few days, you will find it difficult because what will happen is you will not know what all stuff to read from the newspaper properly, how much time to devote to which portion. So those things will happen initially, And as we go along, I can guide you on that. So my target is that till Jan end, you should be in a position wherein you have watched all the videos of Indian economy, made notes and learned the things. When I say learn, I'm using it in the way of याद करना. Facts etc. आपने याद किए भी होने चाहिए. Schemes आपको याद होनी चाहिए. Schemes की details भी. Then we will go to the newspaper, and for the next 15 days or so, I will try to help you out in getting started with the newspaper, those who already haven't done it. But this depends on the demand for it. If you want it to be done, for anyone who is enrolled in the full course, you can request towards the, let's say, end of January, so that I'll plan and we'll do it sometime in February. Okay. Another substitute in the initial phase for newspapers can be monthly current affair magazines, which are prepared by different civil services exam coaching institutes. Okay. So you pick up any monthly magazine, and in that you go through the relevant portion. For example, Indian economy or social sector. So you go through the developments in these and try to prepare the important topics. Remember, Indian economy is one subject which can look daunting in the initial phase, but once you have spent some time, once you have done the hard work, then the additional efforts or the marginal efforts become very minimal. For example, if you have covered this subject properly once, then even if you want to go for any other exam, preparing this subject will not take too much of a time. It is only the effort in the initial stage. Another thing which I am committing to is, if anyone in the full course wants, we can discuss the UPSC Indian Economic Services previous year questions in the month of March. You will have to request this if you want. So cover the Indian economy properly till February end. Then if you want, we can discuss the IAS questions sometime in March. If you want this to be done, please drop a message at the end of February, and then we can plan this. We will try to spend 1 or 2 days in discussing the approach to writing answers for IAS questions. I may not be able to do writing practice under this course, but we can just discuss it through a video interaction. In summary, all that I want to say is, if you are enrolling in this course, please make sure that you exert the right amount of effort to utilize this course very well. Ultimately, the objective is to have conceptual clarity and to have good quality self-written notes ready, which will be very helpful when we want to revise the entire syllabus in lesser amount of time. Remember, once you have watched all these videos, if you want to revise the entire syllabus, you will need notes for it. Every time you cannot begin watching the videos because it takes more time. Just before the exam, you would want to revise the entire syllabus 2 or 3 times. For that, you will need notes, and hence I am stressing on this fact that you have to prepare quality notes from the beginning itself. In the previous year, there have also been candidates who have done the entire preparation, cleared the exam without spending too much time on notes. They have just relied on the books, they underline in the books and prepare from the books only. If that approach works for you, you can use that. But I'm sure that approach is not going to work for all the candidates. It can work for maybe 10 or 20% of the candidates. So you decide which approach is better for you and try to stick to that. This is just an example of the way content is arranged. This is for the stats portion. Similarly, this is for econometrics portion. You can begin from class 1 and keep going ahead. This approach has to be followed in all the subjects. Next, let us discuss how to utilize the test series. We began RBI DEPR Phase 1 Paper 1 Economics Objective Test Series in the year 2021, and since then there has not been even a single year in which questions from our test series have not been asked in the exam directly or indirectly. And of course, we will very honestly admit that just because a few questions have appeared directly from the test series in the final exam, if any candidate prepares only these many questions, it is highly unlikely that only these questions will help the candidate clear the exam. The purpose of enrolling in any test series should be to revise the syllabus multiple times and to help or to take help from this test series to plug in any gaps in your preparation. Ultimate objective should be thorough coverage of the syllabus. It is this approach which helps us design such an effective test series for this exam. The first thing which I want you to note about the 2025 test series is that the majority of the questions will be identical to the 2024 test series. Okay. Now, does that mean that the 2025 test series will be less relevant or not relevant for the exam? The answer is no. Like already mentioned, the objective is to cover the syllabus thoroughly. So if we have already included questions from any topic in the 2024 test series, we will stick to those because we believe that the topic already has been covered thoroughly. However, we will also be including newer questions in the 2025 test series, primarily in the full-length test. Apart from that, we may also have one extra test in the 2025 test series. We will release the detailed schedule in December. Just to repeat, all questions which are there in the test series are important, even the ones which were already there in 2024 test series. For example, consider this question. This question we had formed in the year 2022 and it has remained in the test series since then. In the year 2022, this question was not asked in the final exam. In 2023, again, this question was not asked in the final exam. In the year 2024, a question which was indirectly related to this was asked in the final exam. For example, you were given something like that, seeing a function of Q1, Q2, and you were asked, what does this function show? Options were economies of scale, economies of scope, etc. What was our objective of having this question? In 2022, we wanted to introduce this question so that we have a question which is giving the mathematical approach to economies of scope. So when we were making the test series in the year 2023, this question remained important. So we continued with it. Similarly, in 2024, we continued with it. To reiterate that point, just because a question is being continuing from the previous year's test series, it does not make it any less important. Ultimately, our objective is coverage of the syllabus. Next point is, whenever you see any question, you do not have to cover just the question and the answer. Rather, you have to treat that as a topic and cover the entire topic. For example, this question we had again formulated in the year 2022 and a part of this question had been asked in the year 2023. What part? From this sentence. They had asked a question in the year 2023 examination. So when using this question in the exam or in the mock test, your mindset should be, okay, I have a question on rear, so I have to prepare this topic entirely. So let me go through these links and see what all information I find on rear. And my objective is to prepare the topic of rear very thoroughly. So the answer to this you would have found here. Okay. So ultimately, whenever you see any question in the mock test, you have to treat it as a topic and cover it thoroughly. Like mentioned already, we will also be introducing newer question in the test series. For example, this question we had formulated in the year 2023. That means this was a new question of the 2023 test series. And this question or a part of this question had been asked in the 2023 exam. What part? There was a question from statement B. So that means even the old questions are relevant and even the newer questions are relevant. We will update the test series wherever we feel the need to. Again, this was a newly introduced question in the 2024 test series, and in the 2024 exam, there was a question from here on the topic of weights of indicators in the National Multidimensional Poverty Index. Similarly, there was a question from Taylor's Rule. We had updated all this information in the 2024 only, and in the 2024 exam, there was a question from this topic. So I'm just trying to tell you that we will update it wherever we feel the need, but majority of the questions will remain identical. And whenever you see any question, please read whatever is mentioned in the solutions panel thoroughly. Sometimes we do mention some strategies, some tips, some points. For example, when we say that most important portion is still autocorrelation chapter. However, this does not mean that nothing can be asked from chapters after the autocorrelation chapter. In most exams, examiners have started asking 1 or 2 questions from the chapters after the autocorrelation one. So even in the 2024 exam, you see that there was a question on this topic which is clearly given in chapter number 13 of Gujarati. Next point is we will continue to have mathematically heavy questions in the test series, primarily in the sectional test and in the subject test, because the primary objective of sectional and subject test is to prepare the syllabus. And numerical question serve as an umbrella question for most topics. What do I mean by umbrella question? For example, let's say I want to test your understanding of the topic of confidence interval. Or let's say I want to test your understanding of type 1 and type 2 error. Okay. So one thing is I can ask you the definition of these things. Or I can ask you something like for calculating type 1 error or type 2 error, let's say using so-and-so which distribution is used if this is the situation. Or I can ask you, when you are seeing the table values, what will be the degrees of freedom if n is given to be this, right? So from this particular topic, there can be so many questions that can be formed if I want to form a simple 1 mark question. The other approach is I can just ask you, okay, this is the question, calculate the type 1 error. So if you know how to calculate the type 1 error, then you know answer to all these questions automatically. So in that sense, I'm calling this an umbrella question. If you know this, you know the answer to most of the sub questions. Keeping that in mind, we will continue to have numerically heavy question in the sectional and subject test. Although over the last 1 or 2 years, the importance of numerically heavy questions has reduced in this exam. But we will continue to have them because we understand that these serve as an important umbrella questions. Also, very frankly speaking, nothing can be ruled out in these exams. If you have been appearing for these exams over the past few years, then you know, okay, let's say in the PFRDA exams, in 2 markers also, they've asked very numerically heavy questions. For example, in 2 markers, they have asked questions such as fitting quadratic trend. Okay. And I'm talking about PFRDA exam, in which 50 questions have to be answered in very less amount of time. In RBI DEPR then you have 2 hours, but in these exams you do not get so much time. So even then they have asked questions in 2 markers of fitting quadratic trend and fitting trend for time series data. So do not rule out कि ये question नहीं आ सकता and all that stuff. But of course, because last 2 years से उतना numerically heavy paper नहीं है, still our mindset will be कि that is not going to be our priority for preparation. But still, this does not mean कि numerical बिल्कुल छोड़ के ही जाना है. Also, like I already mentioned, they will serve as important umbrella questions. So we will continue to have them. Next point is be open-minded. Wherever you find some important points, please note them down somewhere and revise them before the exam. For example, here we read the comment of someone stating that she had read the fact that saving rate had reached the peak in the year 2010-11 in one of the speeches of RBI top functionaries. Okay, so wherever you find some important information, you should be mentally prepared, note them down somewhere and keep it ready for the exam. Next topic is how to prepare the English descriptive paper. In this paper, candidates primarily struggle with the essay portion. In order to write good essays, we need content and writing practice. The content part you will be able to build from the understanding of Indian economy, and writing practice again is important to improve our ability to communicate our thoughts. In both these aspects, the role of newspaper reading will be very useful. You can select around 10 topics and prepare the fodder to write essay on those topics, and that fodder will help you no matter what question is asked in the exam. In the year 2024, the topics given were not straightforward ones. So in those questions, you had to use your understanding of different topics and build on the idea using the ability to write well. So to summarize, you have to prepare the content and do some practice. Now I'll try to answer some of your queries very quickly. The first one, when can we expect the RBI DEPR 2025 notification and how many vacancies can we expect? A related question which you often send is there a chance that from next year onwards, there will be no recruitment under RBI DEPR? Give you a very brief answer. At this stage, no such decision has been taken. In no year has RBI told beforehand whether they plan to recruit or they do not plan to recruit. I do not have any internal information, but in my humble opinion, the central bank of the country cannot function without there being some economic specialist. Whether they hire those specialists at grade A or at grade B, it is their headache. At this stage, when RBI itself has not taken any decision, my suggestion is do not overthink about this too much. Ultimately, your mindset should be that you have studied economics for 5 years, and if you want to do anything in this field, you need to have good command over your subject. Spend a few months building very good concepts, preparing all the subjects thoroughly and doing some writing practice, and then be in a situation to appear for any exam that is conducted for economics specialist. Hence, your focus should be on your preparation and do not think about when notification is coming from now onwards. Regarding vacancies, the 38 vacancies in the year 2023 should be treated as an aberration. It is not happening every year. Okay. If you have a look at the vacancies in the previous year, let's say till 2021, 2022, we used to have vacancies around this range only. So your mindset should be that you are preparing to get selected even if there is a single seat. And I can tell you with conviction that even now, the true competition in these exams is very limited. When I say true competition, I'm referring to those candidates who have prepared all the subjects thoroughly, who have done extensive practice and are prepared to get selected no matter what type of exam comes. Most candidates go into the exam thinking कि ऐसा exam आएगा, and if the exam actually comes like that for which they are prepared, then they do very well. If the examiner throws some googlies, then they might be in a difficult position. So do not go ahead with that approach. Have holistic preparation so that no matter what the examiner is doing, you are in a position in which you can clear the exam. And even now, such candidates are very few. And hence, if you can achieve that over the next 6 to 8 months, you will be in a good position no matter what the exam is like and no matter how many vacancies are there. In 2017, the exam which I had cleared, in the unreserved category to which I belong, there were only 2 vacancies. So I went ahead without any backup preparation, in the sense that I had never prepared for these exams before. And I had very good concepts of my undergraduation. I just revised those, did a bit of current affairs and went ahead. So if a person got selected within, let's say, 1.5 months of preparation, that is telling you already that the preparation of other candidates was not up to the mark. Even so many years later, let's say if we are talking about RBI DEPR exam, the true competition in any category is not happening in more than 10 times the number of people as compared to the vacancies. For example, if there are, let's say, 5 vacancies in any discipline, the true competition is not happening in among, let's say, more than 50. At most, there are 50 candidates who are competing. And even in these, the serious ones will be far fewer. So to summarize, focus on having holistic preparation. That will help you no matter which exam you appear for. Next is that you're offering a recorded course, and I'm afraid that my doubts will not be addressed effectively. So let me tell you the advantages of having a recorded course. Let's talk about stats and econometrics. Okay. So if I was providing you this course in a live mode, then how much time do you think I can devote to it? Limited one, right? Similarly, right now, if every other institute is providing live classes or planning or promising to provide live classes, then how much time can they devote to it? Limited only. When I am developing a recorded course, I do not have any restriction of time. I have devoted and prepared a detailed course, which I could never do if we were doing it live. Because even I have time constraint. I have other things to do. So the fact that it is a recorded course provides me the flexibility to go in a simple, smooth and detailed way. Next part is about having doubts. So I'll be very honest, I have studied 3 years in undergrad, 2 years in postgrad, and there have not been too many occasions where I have asked doubts in the live class, honestly. One of the reasons is that to ask a doubt, you should already be in a position wherein you understand the previous class, because many of the things we are studying in this class are linked to the previous class, and also your brain should be functioning properly right now so that you are sure that you understood what is there on the board, and then you can ask a doubt. Okay, because asking a doubt is you've not understood something, so that requires you to be attentive. Perhaps because of these reasons, I have not asked too many doubts in my classes. It is only when I was sitting with my notes and preparing those topics on my own, self-study, that I used to have doubts. Okay. If I am telling you that you send your doubts through a message at any time, then it is more effective way of addressing your doubts. Third is, you are sending the doubts and you feel that you're not getting the reply. That will not happen. Do not worry. I have been running this course from past many years and you can take feedback from fellow candidates. That will not happen. But like I already mentioned, do not expect an instantaneous reply. It might take 2 days, 3 days, 4 days also, but all your queries from the course will be answered. Next is how to utilize this course to prepare for UGC NET Economics or GATE Economics exam. So prepare all the videos thoroughly. That will help you prepare all the subjects. Then attempt the mock test, and after that you go to the previous year questions of this exam and this exam. Whatever new type of questions you feel need to be done, whatever new topics you feel are remaining, you can try to cover them, but most of the topics will be covered through this course. Next is how to prepare Indian Economic Services exam syllabus along with RBI DEPR. So my suggestion is decide which of these 2 exams you want to target and focus on preparing the syllabus of that exam in the initial few months. Once you feel that you have covered the syllabus for that exam, then go to the other exam. The advantage of preparing for IES only is that you clearly know on which date the exam will be held next year. Okay, the calendar is already out. So in that sense, targeting this exam is easier. When we are preparing for RBI DEPR, some sort of uncertainty always remains कि exam कब होगा, notification कब आएगा. That is why I always tell you कि no matter which exam you are preparing for seriously, you must have the calendar of IAS in mind and think I will be appearing for this exam, even if this is my primary target. The syllabus is overlapping, at least 70 to 80% syllabus is common. And hence, no matter which exam you are preparing for diligently, the other exam also you should look to appear for. Pick up one exam, do it properly once, and then move to the other exam and do things which are extra. How to build writing skills for English descriptive or RBI DEPR Phase 2 paper? You will have to practice. And last year we began Phase 2 test series after notification. This year, if there is demand for it, we can begin earlier also so that you get more time to do your preparation in terms of writing skills. Is newspaper reading important? How to read the newspaper? Which newspaper to follow? The answer to the last part is you can follow any newspaper. That is okay. Ultimately, you have to focus on the economy-related developments, the financial sector developments. If you are preparing for RBI DEPR diligently, and even if you follow a newspaper such as The Hindu or something of that sort, it is fine. You just focus on the economy related and the financial sector related developments there. First part is reading newspaper important? Yes, it is. It will help you build your understanding of Indian economy, and that will come handy in the exams. For example, this year's question, just think of it. For example, the question on RIDF. If you have been reading newspaper, you know what RIDF is, and this is one component of NABARD which gets frequently mentioned in the news. NABARD sanctioned so much amount, so this state government under RIDF for so and so project. So you would already know what RIDF is for. Also, when you are reading the newspaper, your writing skills will get help in the sense that you are reading articles. So you understand how a person has written an article. And if you are reading someone else's article, even your understanding of writing would be hopefully will also improve. Second part, how to read the newspaper. It requires a slightly longer answer. If you can prepare your Indian economy static portion and the content given in the video course portion, let's say by Jan end or Feb mid, we can discuss this over the next days after that. So if anyone is interested in that, please drop us a message around Jan end. How to make notes? Like I mentioned already, that for doing that, you have to first decide whether your notes will be the primary stuff from where you will be preparing the topics, or do you want to refer to books all the time. If it will be notes like it is with me, then you pick up any book and prepare notes of that topic from there. If you are enrolled in the video course, note down those things. Then you pick up any book, and if you find some new things in the book, you can note them down there somewhere in the sides or using the pencil. And that is how you do it for different topics, different subjects, and hopefully by the end of the course, you'll have good notes ready. Will it be okay if I begin writing practice after the notification is released? Actually, that depends on where you stand presently. If someone already has good understanding of how to write the answer, then even if you do a little bit of practice, it will be fine. If you do not have any understanding right now, then my suggestion is target completion of syllabus around March, and after March, spend some time on writing practice. Next question which you often ask is, how much time or how many months are needed for preparing for RBI DEPR exam? Again, that depends on where you are standing. If you are fresh pass out and you feel that you have good understanding of micro, macro, stats, economics, etc., I think 3 months are enough, because primary thing is you will have to prepare is Indian economy. On the other hand, if you are a person who feels that micro, macro, stats, maths कुछ याद नहीं बहुत ज़्यादा और सब कुछ start से ही करना है, in that case, you might need a time of 6 to 8 months. So again, it depends on whether you're able to devote the entire day to it, or you are doing it along with something, for example, a full-time job or let's say a PhD. So that depends on your situation. Another question is that I'm going to complete my master in the year 2026. When should I begin preparing for the RBI DEPR exam? Similarly, for people who are completing their masters in the year 2025. So you already understand that to be eligible for RBI DEPR exam, you must be in possession of your final result. That means your result should be declared on or before the date specified in the official notification. For the year 2024, the notification was released on 25 July and the date which they had specified was 1 July. In the year 2023, the notification had been released in the year, in the month of May, and they had specified date of 1 May. Similarly, I think it was 1 March in 2022 and 1 Jan in 2021. So you see, usually they are putting the cutoff date as the first day of the month in which notification is out. So we cannot be sure whether a person completing the masters in 2025 or 2026 will be eligible that year or not. My suggestion therefore is you target the IAS exam of that year. Okay. And if you are preparing for RBI DEPR, doing all these topics, then again, you are in a good position to write even IAS exam. So you target IAS exam because for IAS, even the candidates who are in the appearing category, that means your final result is not out, but you've given your exams that year, even those are eligible. So someone who is completing their master's degree in 2025 will be eligible for IAS in 2025. So you clearly know that. So that's why it is easier to target. Your mental state will be, I have to appear for so-and-so exam in June. Similarly, a person passing out in, let's say, 2026, that person has sufficient time for IAS preparation. So my suggestion, if I was in your shoes, I would be giving the IAS exam, even if, let's say, my primary interest is RBI DEPR. Still, you write the exam that year, prepare accordingly, so that, let's say, when you sit for IAS exam, you would have done a lot of your preparation already. So when you become eligible for RBI DEPR and sit for that exam, you will already be giving your best shot in the first attempt itself. And if you are already clear that you want to attempt these exams, even if you are in your masters, my humble suggestion to you is begin preparation as soon as possible. Why to wait for completing the degree and then spending 1 year on this? Unless your master's course is such that you require, let's say you're in DSC and वहाँ पे ये है कि पूरा दिन आपको मास्टर्स पे ही डिवोट करना है, you cannot devote too much of time to these things, then it's a different issue. Of course, focus first on your college preparation. But अगर आपके पास टाइम बच रहा है कॉलेज के बाहर, तो आप पहले थोड़ा टाइम निकालना शुरू कीजिए एंड प्रिपरेशन करना शुरू कीजिए. दिस इज माय सजेशन. And of course, it is possible that the year in which you are completing your masters, you might be eligible for the RBI DEPR exam that year itself. For example, this year in 2024, the notification had been released on 25th of July and the cutoff date for eligibility was 1 July. So there are many people whose result had been declared before 1 July only. So they were eligible in 2024 itself. But of course, only those candidates who had been doing their preparation beforehand would stand a serious chance. And in the next year, if the notification is released around, let's say, even August, then almost everyone who is passing out in that year may be eligible. Of course, if the notification is released earlier, then many people will not be eligible. So like I already mentioned, there is uncertainty. You decide how you want to move ahead. My suggestion is begin preparation. And in case you decide to begin preparation, you already know where you can find the best guidance for this exam. Now, that's all in this video. We will end this video here. In case you have any queries, you can reach out to us.